Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and I finally saw the original 1982 Tron movie. Now, I saw Tron Legacy for the first time a little less than a year ago, I think is what it was. And I'd wanted to see Legacy since it came out back in the day, but I also wanted to see this movie, and it wasn't, readily available. I didn't want to rent it either. I had a good feeling I'd probably like this movie. Judging by what I saw online with the aesthetic of the movie and stuff. So I finally found a copy recently, even though I watched Legacy first. I found a copy of this recently at Goodwill or something. And grabbed it up really cheap. And it's one of those 2-disc editions with the documentary that's probably a lot more interesting than the movie, to be honest with you. But I finally watched this, and it was awful. I hated it. This was so surprisingly rough that I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you. At least at first I don't. So I had a friend growing up. He is the one who loved Tron Legacy. I think I mentioned this in my review. I may have not. My childhood best friend, TC, loved Tron Legacy when it came out. And he loved it so much that when he found this on Blu-ray, he watched it and he told me it was, quote-unquote, pretty rough. Which, in his language, is actually fucking terrible. He finally got around to never watching it again. You know what I mean? So years later, I finally watched Legacy. Now I've seen this. And he wasn't wrong. And apparently the general consensus about this movie is that it's pretty bad, man. Yeah, taking the idea of video games and making it into a Disney movie, number one, and doing this full landscape of digital video game themed stuff with kind of the Atari style of video game. All of that kind of stuff interested me a lot about this movie, and I wanted to see what could be done with it. There's a lot of creativity put into the movie's sets and how things are shot. We're talking about filming actors in black and white when they're in the video game world, because it starts off the first 30 minutes of the film that, and I'm going to be honest with you, this movie's completely incomprehensible to me. I don't think I actually understand anything at all, really, until we get into the video game world. And I mean in the sense of, I understand the logic of the video games sometimes. Not the plot, because there's basically none. But when we're in the real world stuff, and we're setting up, Jeff Bridges' character, who I can't remember the name of. I think it's Flynn. I could be wrong. All of that stuff is so incomprehensible. I don't really understand anything that was happening there, to be honest with you, because it's such a mess. How in the world? No wonder Disney was struggling so bad during the 80s. If they dumped as much money to revolutionize the film industry as they did with this movie, no wonder they almost crashed and burned. Tron is awful. It's terrible. But that first half an hour I was talking about of just Jeff Bridges and his two other people hanging out in real life, it's awful. It's so slow, dude. But then you get a gun that's aimed at him that sends him into the video game world of Tron, and he meets a hero named Tron, who is the definitive typical hero of any kind of story, that hero's journey type of hero. And Jeff Bridges is a user from the outside. He's not just a program like everybody else that he knows in there. And there's this weird religious thing going on in here where it's the computer people, the programs, like Tron, for example, they debate on the idea of God being users, in this case a Jeff Bridges type of character, existing at all. And the current government, Master Control, which is the big bad of the movie, tell them that they're not allowed to believe in that or they'll be put to death. They have to play games and stuff to the death against each other. For example, the only couple of things I actually like about this movie are some of the games, obviously the light cycles. There's a breakout scene, trying to escape with the light cycles. That whole scene is super well done, no matter how bad the movie is, no matter how dated those effects are. The way that's filmed is very well done, in my opinion, personally, in hindsight. The other one is the game where it's kind of it reminds me of that game that I have on, I think it was I want to say NES or something. I don't have an NES, but there's a game that I have that's bootlegged all over bootleg consoles I own, where it's you have a little block at the bottom of the screen and you move it left and right, and a little like dot bounces around the screen and stuff. You have to take out a bunch of blocks up at the top part of the screen. That game reminds me of that, where it's like a person standing on a bunch of circles, and like you have to throw a ball around the room and hit the other person's circles. One or the other stole from the other. It has to be. I refuse to believe anything otherwise. But it was super fun in those two regards, with the light cycles and that circle game thing. Outside of that, I don't know, man. The aesthetic for the film, when you see it in screenshots online, it looks kind of rough depending on the shot you're looking at, if you've never seen the movie before, like how I hadn't. And then you see it, and you're like, okay, we're not only doing filming actors in black and white, and then having, like, goofy cardboard costumes on them. Sometimes we rotoscope animate over top of them. Sometimes we do a hand-drawn animation over top of them. And we do a light glow over the costumes that I don't know if it was, like, a CGI effect, or if it was actually, like, in the movie. Like they filmed it on the day of with some kind of light shooting into the screen, or the camera, I mean. I don't really know all the in and outs of all that. Again, I think the documentary that came with my 2-disc DVD section thing would be better. I really do. I think it'd be way more fascinating with some of the angles they came up with. But it reminds me in a lot of ways, not to compare it directly to video games, but it reminds me of how I would be willing to bet if I looked back at old games I played on the computer in school back in the day. And I'm not talking like 2008, I'm talking about like 2003 and 4. I feel like if I looked back at games like that weird fishing game with Leonard Nimoy you've seen people make videos about online, where he like narrates it as a fish and stuff. I feel like if you looked back in hindsight, those games would be horrifically bad, just like how this is. You know what I mean? There are parts of this movie that are absolutely embarrassing. I think when I watched Red Letter Media's review about this and Tron Legacy, I think Jack really hit on a good point, that it feels like the majority of this film is trying to put the amusement park, entertaining, fun storyline portions all on Jeff Bridges' shoulders and not on the actual script shoulders, because the director is also the writer for this movie. It feels like he wrote a terrible-ass script that was all focused on, CGI and eventfulness, that didn't really have the right writer for dialogue, for plot, for characters, anything like that. And then Jeff Bridges got put in a situation where he had to kind of do it the best he possibly could and make it fun. Now, Jeff Bridges is a talented enough actor that he actually pulls it off, I think. For example, there's a scene where he's talking to like a little tiny robot. It's kind of floating around. And that's really a fun scene, even though it goes on a little too long. But that's the problem in general with this movie. It's an hour and a half long, and it feels like 2 hours because of how boring it is. There's not like a good, awesome soundtrack or anything. No real cool theme song. And again, the plot and everything being kind of incomprehensible until we get to the more simplistic portions of it in the Tron world. It's boring. It's boring. There's shots that linger too long. It's such a mess, man. I don't know how Joseph Kosinski was able to make Tron Legacy like 30 years later and make it so damn good, but still kind of make it like he was supposed to, I think, kick off a new trilogy or something that ended up obviously getting canceled. But I don't know how in the world they could have sat down and watched or whatever, studied this movie to then make Tron Legacy as damn good as they did. Can you imagine how much of a struggle that'd be, especially if you weren't paid enough for that? Having to watch this piece of crap over and over again to get like little details right. Tron Legacy is so good. Tron 1982 is awful. Don't even waste your time on it. Just skip straight to Legacy. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for 1982. And what irritates me the most, you'll have people that will sit there and talk about how amazing and revolutionary the effects are in this movie. Dude, we had Star Wars like 5 years before this. We were about to have Return of the Jedi the next year after this movie. Like, yeah, they're not fully CGI films, but hey, if the tech wasn't ready, then maybe you shouldn't have done it yet. That's a theme with Tron. Tron is always trying to be so revolutionary. You had this movie trying to change up, making entire worlds of CGI animation around, live actors. You had that, but then you also have, like, with Tron Legacy trying to do the de-aging thing way before Civil War perfected it with Marvel and the MCU. And we don't need that. When Tron Ares comes out, which is why I finally sat down and watched this movie, even though I wasn't super excited for it, Tron Ares, I'm really, really excited about. I'm not really excited about Jared Leto, but I'm excited about that movie. I don't think it's going to succeed at all, but it looks cool, and I can't wait to be there. The music sounded awesome. I think it's 9 Inch Nails now. I don't know, man. I don't want them to do anything super revolutionary or so-called. We don't need that. Just make a good sequel. Focus on that. So anyway, Tron 1982, what do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below and let me know what you think about this piece of shit. I'd love to hear everything you have to say and watch folks who grew up on it defend it. Anyway, thank you guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye. Are you excited for Tron Ares? Let me know that down below, too. God bless you again. Goodbye.